another Watford fan called Finn. So Finn, first of all, how are you doing today? And are you looking forward to the game?
I am doing great, thank you. And of course I'm looking forward to the game. I look forward to every Watford game.
Good, I'm sure we all do as well. And it is Derby County. We're at home to Derby County, so another home game, 3 games in 6 days. But before we get into Watford, Finn, I want to touch on Derby County and how they've kind of been getting on lately. And yeah, obviously Wayne Rooney at the start of the season, he actually played against us, and now he's actually the Derby manager. So they've kind of had a little bit of a resurrection since Wayne Rooney joined. In the last 4 games, they've won 3 of them. Their only loss coming to Rotherham, which they lost 3-0. So how do you think they're going to kind of set up in this game? Do you think they're going to come to Vicarage Road, set up quite defensively? Or do you think they're going to try and go at us? Because obviously we do have a good home record. So do you think they're going to try and press us? Or do you think they're going to kind of sit back and go for the point?
I think they'll go for the point. If you look at the table, it's easy to see that we're in 2 completely different situations. Watford are, again, we are below par, like what we were expecting at the start of the season. We are, but we are still in the promotion battle. Derby are in the relegation battle. So I think, despite they've got some good players, but I think they will come to Vicarage Road looking for a draw. And if they can nick one on the break, they nick one on the break.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. And Cormac's in the comments here. He said he's going for a 2-0 win to Watford. I hope, Cormac. So yeah, I think that's relatively a good prediction. I think that obviously I'm not expecting Watford to win 6-0 like we did against Bristol City, but I am expecting us to put in a decent performance. And I think we've only lost, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Finn, but I think we've only lost, 2 games at home the whole season?
2, yeah.
I can't even remember who that was against.
Cardiff and QPR, I think.
Cardiff and the QPR game. Don't remind me of that. Awful. Charlie Austin. God, he gets on my nerves. He does.
I like him after the Brentford game, though.
Yes, actually, that's a good point to mention. Brentford did actually lose last night, so I think that makes Watford. I think we're 3 points away from Brentford. Is that right?
Yes, we have an opportunity on Friday, tomorrow, to go level on points with Brentford, but they will have a game in hand.
God, that's made me more nervous. That has made me more nervous.
Sorry.
Will is in here saying same team at any changes. Actually, I think that's a good point, Will, and I think that we'll move on to that now. And in terms of how Watford will set up, I think Finn, I think you'd agree with me that we'd go and continue with the 4-3-3 formation. I think that the last 2 games that Xisco has implemented that, I think we've played excellently. Now, obviously, Troy Deeney is injured, we think, for quite a long time, at least 2 weeks, but probably longer. In terms of the 4-3-3, Finn, do you think that is something we should continue going forward and play for the rest of the season? Because I think personally, in terms of the players we've got at the moment, Sema, Sarr, Pedro, Perizza, I think that formation suits them players, don't you?
I think it's the only option we have, really, because 4-4-2 simply doesn't work. There's no point playing. Hughes isn't a left mid and Sarr isn't a right mid. He's an attacking right winger. It doesn't work. And I think if you look at the previous 2 performances, we've played well, even though it took a penalty and it was only 1-0 to beat. Oh, who was it? Who did we play last? Preston, yeah. Even though it took a penalty, but if you look at it, we played well. We dominated the ball. We dominated them. We didn't create much, but that's been our problem all season. So I think 4-3-3 it's a must do. We have to stick to it.
Yeah, I think so, and I think for João Pedro especially. Obviously, in fact, I had this conversation with you yesterday, Finn, off camera, about Troy Deeney and how obviously we don't wish injury upon any player, but I think in Watford's case this time, and Troy Deeney especially, I think that it actually does benefit us in the sense that players like João Pedro, who are young, talented players, good movement off the ball, compared to Troy Deeney, who is a target man, and we've seen this season he's only scored 1 goal from open play, which for a so-called Premier League striker, it doesn't make for very good reading, really, does it? So look, obviously we wish Troy Deeney all the best, but I think for someone like João Pedro, it's a real opportunity for him to, become Watford's, main striker, main number 9, and yeah, I think it's interesting how we going forward, really. Cormac saying this is the first week. I don't want Zinchenko to start. Very, very strange opinion there, Cormac. In my opinion, I'd like to see Zinchenko start. And the reason for that is as I said at the start of the stream, we have played 3 games in 6 days. And Finn, I think there needs to be some rotation in the squad because, you know, the Championship is relentless. 3 games in 6 days, you know, is a lot of work for the players to do. So what changes would you make going into the game? Would you like to maybe see a Paritza get a start, maybe a Zinkernagel start instead of a Chalobah perhaps? What changes would you make to the team going into the Derby game?
I think Zinkernagel may be in a more of an attacking midfield, just behind the striker role. I think Semmer and Sarr are undroppable at the moment. And you look at Sarr, he's played every game all season, but I still think he's undroppable. That he's just maybe sub him off because you haven't seen that recently or at all. But I think, yeah, maybe instead of more of a Hughes in defensive midfield and then the other two, Chalobah and Cleverley in central, I'd have possibly like Hughes and Cleverley maybe swapping between defensive and central, box to box, and then just Zinkernagel just behind the striker. And I do think Cleverley needs a bit of a rest because against Preston he did not stop running for the whole 90 minutes. And I know you know how much I love Cleverley, but I just think he needs a rest. The man's not a robot.
No, I know. And Cormac's actually come back here and said Zinkernagel was terrible when he came on at Preston. And what I would say back to that, Cormac, is obviously we're all entitled to our own opinions, and I respect your opinion. But he did only come on for a 20-minute spell? Was it 10 minutes, if that?
It was 10.
10 minutes. So he was on the pitch for 10 minutes. He's just come to England. He's only started, I think, 1 game, and that was against Manchester United. And
he was good in that
player game. He was playing in Norway. You know, he come on a pitch, and I assume, Cormac, you're referring to that pass he made when I think it was a 3-on-2, wasn't it? Watford were through on the attack, and obviously he misplaced the pass. But you know, Zinkernagel did score against Bristol City. He did get into that position to tap it in, albeit it was only a tap in. But I think Zinkernagel's got a lot more to offer, and yeah, I don't know what your thoughts on that, Finn, are, but definitely I think Zinkernagel, if given enough time, he will be a nailed on starter for Watford in a not so distant future.
Yeah, I think the problem with Zinkernagel is he's just not up to speed with the game whenever he comes on. You can't expect, like last season, yes, he was the 5th most creative player in Europe, but you can't expect that as soon as he's just joined an English club. This is the first time ever in England, and he's only getting 10 minutes here and there. There's no way. It's unrealistic to expect, especially because it's hard to get up to speed with the game coming on if you've played in England all your life, let alone coming from Norway where you'd play on 3G to playing at Preston on their fabulous pitch.
Yeah, I know, and actually, I think Watford are blessed in the sense that, you know, our pitch is superb, isn't it? It's so nice, and I think it's been a little bit of a shock coming down to the Championship. We've been in the Premier League for 5 years, and then, you know, suddenly we're playing on pitches that aren't very good at all, and I think that's probably why that might be a contributing factor as to why our home record is so good, because of our pitch, and we've got a Premier League quality pitch, we've got Premier League quality players, obviously. And I think that probably contributes as to why our home form is so good. I'm just want to talk to you about Xisco Munoz quickly. Only a couple of weeks ago, I made a video about Xisco Munoz and where his future was at Watford, and, you know, should he leave Watford? Should he stay? I got a lot of mixed opinions from that video. Where are you on Xisco Munoz at the moment? And have you seen enough in the past, you know, 2 or 3 games to suggest that he maybe does have the capabilities that we maybe thought he didn't, you know, a couple of weeks ago? Do you think that he is the right man for the job, or do you think that even if we got promoted at the end of this season, that he still might end up leaving?
I think he's proven that he can turn a sinking ship around, but I think he was always going to get, if he beat Bristol, he was always going to get Bristol, Preston, and Derby. He was going to get this week. I think he's if he beats Derby, I think he's proven that he can turn a sinking ship around. You can't sack him after winning. So if we won 1-0 against Derby, that would still be an 8-0 aggregate game in a week. And I think you can't sack someone after that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right about turning the sinking ship around, because it was literally, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Watford Twitter, Watford Instagram, everyone went into meltdown after we drew with Millwall. I think we drew with Coventry as well. And drawing a game isn't necessarily a bad result, but the manner that we drew them games, I think it concerned a lot of Watford fans. And as you say, if we can come out of this week, Preston, Bristol City, and Derby, if we can come out of this week with 9 points, and especially with the results going our way, with Brentford losing, it's looking really, really good for Watford. And actually, if we do win tomorrow, I think that maybe we do have a chance of getting into them automatic promotion places.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I don't know what you guys think in the comments. Will here wants to know, where do you think the best position for Zinchenko is to play? We did touch on that a little bit. I think Finn mentioned, what do you want to see him in the centre of the park, Finn, or do you maybe want to see him out wide on the wings, perhaps?
Annoyingly, I think his best position's right wing. That's where he got the majority of his goals and assists last season, but that is where our best player plays. So I think maybe, say there was a list, my top would be right wing, then just behind the striker, then left wing. And I know Zisco brought him on in central mid, like where Cleverly plays against QPR, while it was 1-1, which just baffled me. So I don't want to see him there again. Any of the three I just mentioned before.
I'll tell you what, my one critique with Zinchenko, from what I've seen of him so far, and I don't know if you guys agree with me in the comments as well, it's that he does give the ball away, and it's natural for a creative player to do this, but it obviously is frustrating for us fans watching, is he does give the ball away in quite dangerous positions, when maybe if he just played the simple pass and didn't try maybe a little trick or a little flick, it would work out a lot better. And I think against Preston, he was culpable of that a little bit. I think he gave away a foul on the edge of the box. I think he gave the ball away in our defensive third to a Preston player, and that could have led to a goal. So I think that's something he's got to work on. But I think that if he doesn't get enough game time, that's always going to be an issue. And I think that Xisco, does need to start him in a game. And I think tomorrow is a good opportunity to do that with, as we said earlier, 3 games in 6 days. And yeah, it's a good opportunity to do that, I think. Ben here saying I would put him on the wing for Sarr for a game. Sarr needs a break. I mean, you mentioned that, Finn, that Sarr's been playing every game, and maybe that's something we could look at. But I think that Sarr, as we all know, is a really, really important player for us. So is that an option? I would like to see that, but I'd feel a little bit nervous doing that. So we'll have to see how that works out. Will here saying, will Lazar ever start? What are your thoughts on that, Finn? Because obviously he did sign for us. Ashraf Lazar is a left back / left wing back. He can also play left wing. Do you think he's really going to get any game time, or is he just going to be a squad player, add some depth to the team? What are your thoughts on that?
I have 2 words for you: panic signing.
Panic signing.
And
elaborate.
I can't see Lazar starting over Messina unless Messina's injured or unfit. There's no way. The man hasn't played. He looked good. He looked okay in his debut, but he had nothing to do. But I just feel like Lazar starting over Messina would. No, thank you.
No, thank you. So that's Finn's response. Let me know your thoughts on Lazar in the comments below. I think that when he joined, I think it was, as you say, it was a little bit of a panic signing. I think that, it was obvious we did need to get someone in that position. Is Lazar the right person for us? Is he the future of Watford? I don't think so, but we will give him a chance. We will give him a chance. Edward here talking about Zinchenko, just saying he needs to get used to the Championship, very different to the Norwegian League. I absolutely agree with you there, Edward. Rudy here saying, I would like to see Dan Gosling start a game. And yeah, I actually think this Derby game would suit Dan Gosling because they are quite a physical side. Is Zinchenko right for this game? He's quite small, he's quite light on the ball. Maybe Dan Gosling is the right player. And I know, because you like Tom Cleverley so much, Finn, you are also a fan of Dan Gosling. Is he someone you'd like to see more of at Watford? He obviously is back from, he was gaining some match sharpness at the training ground. He's available for selection now. Is he someone you'd like to see a bit more?
Yes, I think especially because we've got 3 games in 6 days. I think that he has to. We've got to use our squad. It's the Championship. It's relentless. Tom Cleverley has played all 3 of these games and he's not stopped running. He needs a rest. Or Hughes. Hughes hasn't stopped running in any of them either. He needs a rest. So I'd like to see Dan Gosling come in for one of them 2 and then possibly Zinkernagel in for Chalobah to
Yeah,
play just
exactly.
behind striker.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see that as well. So it'd be really interesting to see how Zisco lines up. And I think it's time we move on to our score predictions now. And obviously it's going to be a difficult game. As I mentioned earlier, Derby have won 3 out of their last 4 games. They've kind of had a resurgence under Wayne Rooney's management, and I just found it quite funny that Wayne Rooney played against us earlier in the season, and now he's the manager of Derby. That is football for you. And before we move on, actually, I just want to say Thierry Henry looks like he's joining Bournemouth. What a strange appointment that is. Thierry Henry joining Bournemouth. Quickly, Finn, what are your thoughts on that? Because I think that's actually quite good for us chasing promotion.
I'm well happy. I'm really happy about it. He's failed in the MLS. He's failed in France. Bearing in mind, he took over a Monaco team that had just won the Ligue 1, and he failed. He was in a relegation battle, and they just won Ligue 1. I know. I hope he gets appointed.
Yes, I do as well. But look, I think as fans, we do find these things funny. But he might end up doing really well at Bournemouth. But we'll have to wait and see. And I've watched videos of Thierry Henry managing, and he's a bit ruthless on the sideline. He's swearing at his players. He's like, "Why haven't you made that pass?" So yeah, it's a bit of a strange appointment. But getting on to our score prediction, I did say before we started this stream, it will be a close game. I think that actually the last time out at Derby, it was quite a tough game. He only won 1-0 through a João Pedro wonder strike, if you remember, on the edge of the box. Yeah. Curled it into the top corner. Fantastic strike. And we were quite lucky to win that game as we didn't perform that well, did we? And that was actually under Vladimir Ivic, wasn't it? So yeah, it feels like a long time ago now. But what is your score prediction, Finn? And who are the goal scorers going to be? And yeah, what ultimately, how is the game going to pan out in your opinion?
I think Derby will come for a draw. We'll score 2 relatively early goals, and then
you think Derby are going to score 2 goals?
No, we will.
Watford. Oh, good.
Yeah. And that we'll score 2 early goals, and then Derby will realise they need to come at us if they're going to get anything in the second half, and it'll finish 2-1 to Watford.
2-1 to Watford. I like the sound of that. Let's take a look at the comments at what other people think. So Cormac's gone for a 2-0 to Watford. Rudy 1-0 Watford. Love that, Rudy. Edward 3-2. So that's going to be a bit of a thrilling game, that Edward. I hope that it's going to be more comfortable than that sound. And Will has gone with a 2-0 to Watford. So lastly, what would I go with? It's difficult. No Troy Deeney in the squad at all. I think we're going to have to rotate some players. I think that Derby are going to be up for the game. So it's going to be a lot harder than we thought. I'm going to go with a 2-1 to Watford. I think that I'm going to agree with you, Finn. I think that Derby will score. But I think overall, I think Watford will hopefully have control of the game. And hopefully we do continue with this 4-3-3 formation as well. So thank you, Vim, for coming on. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Really do appreciate you sharing your opinion. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back for more content after the Derby County home game. Hope you're all enjoying the content on the channel so far. I really do appreciate it. I'll leave a link to Finn's Instagram page in the description of the video. Will here saying, really good stream, guys. Please keep doing more. Thank you for the feedback, Will. Really do appreciate that. We'll definitely do more in the future. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow evening or on Saturday with our reaction to Watford versus Derby County. So again, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you in another video very soon. Bye bye.